David Coots has thrown away his career as a Premier League referee as a video is leaked of him showing clear bias and dislike towards Liverpool. And today we are going to be covering the situation and really talk about how crazy this situation really is. But before we get into the video, please do like the video if you enjoyed, and don't forget to comment your thoughts on the situation down below, and also comment down below suggestions for future videos. And also do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support is very much appreciated, and these videos would not be made without your guys' help. With all of that being said, let's get into today's video and look at how crazy the David Coots situation really is. So by now, I'm going to assume that everybody, all of us, have seen the David Coots video going around. But if you haven't, I'm going to quickly play it for you now so everybody is all caught up.
So what did you think of the Liverpool game earlier when you were fourth official?
Liverpool was shit.
What do you think of Jurgen Klopp?
Cunt. Absolutely.
What would you say? Why would you say that Jurgen Klopp was a cunt?
Aside from having a right pop at me when I ref them against Burnley in lockdown, then he accused me of lying, and then just had a right fucking pop at me, and I've got no interest in speaking to someone who's fucking arrogant.
Yep. He said exactly what you thought he said in that video. And nope, that video is not fake. That is not an AI video, and that actually is David Coots in that video. He said all of that on camera, yeah. He's an idiot. I don't know why, when you have the job that he has, I don't know why you would come out and say that, right? On camera, like, fair enough, if you want to say that in your private life when there's no cameras around and there's no record of you saying it, fair enough, you can do what you want. But to say that on camera and expect that video not to go anywhere, crazy. It is crazy. But yeah, so let's actually talk about the situation, right? Because obviously the PGMOL have suspended Coots after this video has surfaced, and they have said that they will not comment any further on the situation until their investigation into it has been complete. And I can assume that he will never referee a Premier League game or even a game in England again. He probably still does have a career as a ref, obviously abroad in a foreign league, but I just think in England his career is probably done. And if it isn't, then I don't really know what to say about that. But you know, the thing it highlights is, one thing that's quite obvious is that referees are obviously going to dislike managers such as Klopp, Pep, Arteta and Mourinho are the examples I'm going to use. Because what do all of these managers have in common? They're winners, right? They well, win games. Not all of them are trophy winners, but they win games, right? So when things aren't going their way, they're going to get agitated, they're going to get frustrated, right? And they're going to give abuse to the referees, the fourth officials, and all of the officiating staff, right? I've seen Klopp do it many a times, and obviously the prime example being used is David Coots, because David Coots has come out and said that he gave him a lot of stick when he was refereeing one of Liverpool's games, and he didn't like it, and he thinks he's not a great person because of that, right? I've seen Pep give referees abuse many a times, and be very sarcastic and belittling towards them. I've seen Arteta do it, and we've all seen Mourinho do it, right? You know, these top managers do it, right? And obviously, if the referees are meant to have no biases, right? And they're meant to have no unconscious biases, and they're not meant to favour any team or not favour any team, right? That's part of the job description. But as a human being, it is very difficult to have an unconscious bias, because what is an unconscious bias? It's something that you don't think about, right? So if I'm a referee and I'm refereeing a Manchester City game and it's not going City's way, and Pep starts giving me abuse, right? And I'm like, no, I'm not listening to this. He doesn't need to belittle me like this. I'm just trying to do my job, right? And then I have to manage 2 more City games further down the line. And I get asked, okay, all of that abuse, that stick Pep gave you, is that going to have an effect on decisions you make in the upcoming games of cities that you're going to referee? I would obviously say no. I'm a bigger person, and I can put that to one side and I can go out and do my job. But just because I say that and just because I think that doesn't mean that the abuse that he's given me in the past isn't going to have an effect on the decisions I make, because that is what an unconscious bias is. And obviously all of these referees are going to have an unconscious bias, either for or against some teams. It's obviously not right, because they should be impartial, and it would make the game a lot more fair. But it's almost impossible for them not to have unconscious biases, and it's very difficult to prove unconscious biases as well. Obviously, with the video of David Coots, it is very obvious that he's going to have an unconscious bias towards Liverpool, because he has come out and said that he dislikes Jurgen Klopp and he doesn't like the club. So, yeah, he has unconscious biases against Liverpool, right? Whether he wants to admit that or not, whether he thinks he's big enough and professional enough to put his dislike towards the club aside, he's not. It's going to seep in some way. But just because he has unconscious biases against Liverpool does not mean it's corruption. There's, I think, and using the term corruption in this situation, it takes a lot of meaning away from the word corruption. Because it isn't corruption. This is just a guy being an idiot and allowing his friend to record him saying something so damning and something that could ruin his career. And it is someone just being basically salty or holding a grudge against someone because they've been mean to them in the past. I don't think that it is corruption, because I think if it was corrupt and it was corruption, I think Liverpool would have lost every single game that David Coots has officiated them for, because I think he would have, if it was corruption, he would have went out of his way to make sure that they do not win a game under his watch, which he hasn't. So I think it is definitely a very bad look for him. It's a very bad look for the PGMOL, and I do sympathise with Liverpool to obviously have this come out about your club, but they're not the only ones, and they won't be the only ones. And every ref has said this about some club, whether that be City, United, Liverpool, Spurs, Crystal Palace, Watford, you know, Ipswich, Luton, Burnley, any of these teams, right? Any of these teams have been in the Premier League. They've said something about that team, about Marco Silva, about Sean Dyche, about Jose Mourinho, about Antonio Conte, about Maurizio Sarri, about Brendan Rodgers, about all of these managers, right? All of these clubs. A referee has said something positive or negative about them. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. They're not robots. They have emotions. You know, they're capable of thinking and feeling emotion, right? So unfortunately, they will never be completely impartial even. So there's no way of getting around that. There's no way of, unfortunately, getting rid of these unconscious biases, because a manager or a player is going to aggravate a referee, or a manager or a player is going to be very nice and polite to a referee, and it's going to sway their mind one way or the other. And you can't stop that. You can't stop that. So the whole discourse around this situation is very interesting, because yes, realistically, he should not have these unconscious biases. Realistically, he should be suspended from his job for acting in an unprofessional way by letting that video come out. And obviously, due to the implications of some of the incorrect decisions that went against Liverpool, with him being at the helm of officiating, obviously puts a question over his professionalism in the job, not just away from the job. So obviously, yes, he should be suspended. It's a bad look on the PGMOL, and he has unconscious biases. But how do you stop the unconscious biases? And that is my question to all of you. How do you stop the unconscious biases that these referees have? Because everybody has them, and everybody will have them, because it's just part of human nature. But with all that being said, let me know down in the man, I can't even get my words out. Let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on the situation, and how you think it should be dealt with, and how many other refs you think dislike your club or dislike other clubs in the league. Obviously, like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. With all that being said, I've been Nathan, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Shut down cases, they belly dots to the can't see faces, chasing the bad guy chase it. You don't wanna be the one like Ace and like GT trying to turn them out wasted. Aye, tell a bad bitch come break it, body come mad, come shake it, then get back to the basics, bro, don't shut down cases, they belly dots to the